envelopes. You can have designed envelopes, you could have coffee dyed envelopes, or you could just have plain white envelopes. But whatever type of envelope you have, it sounds like this. Let me show you how you can turn an envelope into one that sounds like this. We all want our envelopes to have that wonderful crunchy sound. Let me show you how. Hi best buds, it's Cathy with Cathy's Garden, and I'm so happy that you've joined me today. Now, I'm going to use this envelope. We made these in a video. I showed you how you can get this beautiful pattern on your paper. So then what you'll want to do is, because this envelope has a pattern, what you choose to cover this print, it could be a digital, it could be some music paper, or it could be a book page, or it could even be some paper out of a paper pad. Let's go ahead and let's use a book page. I'm going to do this very easily, the easy way. I'm going to take my art glitter glue and I'm going to glue the inside portion of my envelope. Got that glued down, and I'm going to place my book page right on the top, just like that, making sure that I can still close my envelope up without it binding. Now, this isn't going all the way to the edge, as you can see, but I really don't think that's going to matter. I'm really looking more to cover up my flap and just a little bit of the inside. Once that's glued down, then, whoops, it's glued down a little crooked there. There we go, I got to lift that back up. We're going to trim this out. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim around the edge. There we go. We've got it covered. Now this is when I like to bring in my inks. Now there's Victorian Velvet, and I've switched to my vintage photo because my other one was completely dried out. Even adding moisture and more ink, it's still, and I decided to pull it and we're going to use it, and I just love it because it's really, really dark, and I love that dark look. We've inked that all up. Now I'm going to switch and I'm going to highlight it with some Victorian Velvet. So just here and there I'm going to highlight. I even like to ink up where the decoration is, where the pattern. Let's talk about the tracing paper. Now if you don't have, or you don't do coffee slurry, you can go ahead and use the white tracing paper. Or even maybe you even like the way that looks. I'm going to go ahead and use the coffee dyed tracing paper. What you want to do, this is the key. You take a wet glue. You don't want to take a glue stick. You could use white school glue, that would work. But you'll want to just put a little bit on the edge. So we want that to go basically where our book page went. It looks like I need to trim this a little better. That's probably why it wasn't folding the way I wanted it to fold. I needed to trim this a little better. There, okay. Hopefully this isn't drying. All right, so we're going to continue with our glue right around the edge, just like that. All right, then we're going to take our tracing paper and we're going to lay it right on top. I'm actually going to go over a little bit. Press it down. We did not put any glue in the middle. You just want it on the outside. And then, of course, you're going to need to trim it out. So I'm going to trim mine out. So now it's going to look just like this. You can go ahead at this point in time and you can glue your envelope back together. So let's do that. All right, so we've glued back together and it's an envelope. Now listen, that's what it had to have. It had to have the tracing paper inside the envelope like that. I love that sound. Now you can decorate it up. I have my dish. I have my eyelets. I have a bow made out of sari silk. I have some little lace pieces. I have some labels. And I think I'd like to do the back first. Let's go ahead and let's fold our envelope. So I'm just looking at the fold and getting it folded down, just like that. A little paper clip will hold it closed for me. Just like that. I think I'd like to add a little bit of lace right on this edge right here. So I have my hot glue gun. It's a Surebonder high temp with that specialty tip. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue here, laying down my lace on top. I've got my little stick here and I'm going to press it into the glue, my lace. Okay, I think I'd like just a tiny bit more right here. Just do a little bit of puckering. Let's give it a trim. All right, so now let's pop our bow right here, adding a little bit more glue and gluing it down on top of the lace. Now what label would I like to have right here on the front? Maybe this one right here. That one's very sweet. So I'm only going to glue or add glue to this little flap area. Right there. Sorry, I keep touching that. And let's glue this down right here. So now it opens up like this. I'd like to get a little bit of color on this back side because it's not coffee dyed. Just to give it a little color. I'm going to run my little sponge. Now this is Victorian Velvet. My other ink that I was using just totally gave out, even by re-inking it. So now I have my vintage photo, and that's what I'm using today. I'd like a little flat back pearl on here, and I also would like to grab a little butterfly. I don't know if I want a big one, a pink one. Oh, a pink one is pretty. How about if we pop that one right there? So I'm going to switch to my art glitter glue. I'm going to add my glue onto my butterfly's wings. And I'm going to pop it right here. I'm going to glue the tail down, the body, tails. Oh, they have bodies. Okay, that's really sweet. Now I want to be able to keep this envelope closed because, as you can see, it just keeps popping open. But before I do that, let's turn it over on this side. And I think I'd like to add a little bit more decoration just on the front. I'm thinking I really like that one, or this one was nice. Let's do this one. I'd like to add a little bit of lace on top. So first, let's glue this label down. Now these labels are from Chapter 1 papers. Let's glue this down just like that. Get another little piece of lace and let's kind of go around our label a little bit. Let's smush it on. Getting it glued down. There we go. A little bit more. I like that. That looks good. All right, so I have a little scrap here. Actually, let's get our scrap from our little bow right here. I just want a little piece just to add a little color. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue and I'm going to just kind of smush, literally just smush that Sari silk on there. Now this Sari silk is from Crimson Heart Studios and I will link her shop in the description area. Alrighty, so that looks really nice. Now we need those flat back pearls, don't we? Add a flat back pearl right here and maybe right here. I like that. Very, very vintage. Alright, so they're on there nice. Let's turn this over and we're going to need to put a hole in our label right here. So I'm just looking to see where the middle is. It's about right here. So let's just put a little mark. I have my standard hole punch and we're going to punch a hole right here. I have my eyelets and I'm going to put a top on it and I'm going to put a bottom on it. There we go. Perfect. Now we have our eyelet end. There we are. Now we have our eyelet end. Now I have some really pretty alpaca yarn. That's what this is right here. And it's in an oatmeal color. I think that's the color they called it. I'm going to put it into our eyelet right here. And I'm going to wrap it around and I'm going to give it a tie. Before I tie it, let's listen to how our envelope sounds. Doesn't it sound wonderful? It looks wonderful too. So you can put all kinds of things in here. Oh, isn't that very vintage? Oh, I was wanting to put a flat back pearl right there on that bow just to finish it off. There we are. So you too can have a wonderful sounding envelope.